Hello there, very good evening and a warm welcome to the news live on Rupavahini Channel I. I'm Sharon Masquinius.
I'm Owen Hetiarachi and here are today's headlines.
10 students have secured 200 marks at the scholarship examination. The court orders Rishad Badruddin to plant saplings in a cleared Vilpath forest at his private expense. The army commander says Dulapitiya COVID cluster has been fully controlled. The 75th budget is to be presented in Parliament tomorrow. The decision to commence the third school term is to be taken according to the instructions of the health divisions. 2 female pilots to be recruited to the Sri Lankan Air Force for the first time.
On to the stories in detail now, starting off with local news. 10 students have been successful in securing the total marks of 200 in the Grade 5 scholarship examination. The results of the examination were released last night. 20,000 students have passed the examination, becoming eligible to receive student aid. The number includes 250 students with special needs. 331,741 students have applied for this year's Grade 5 scholarship examination. Out of this number, 326,264 have sat for the exam. The exam was held under protective healthcare methods. The Ministry of Education has exerted maximum efforts for the children to face the exam with a proper mentality, even under the extraneous circumstances caused due to the pandemic. The 10 students who have received 200 marks were Siyati Vikumsa of Sangamita Girls School, Gaul, Mohammad Amir of Zaira College, Maradana, Sihait Sandindu of Dharmapala College, Pannipitiya, Devili Yasasmi Tilakaratna of Samanajoti Junior School, Ingiriya, Sasmita Gunatilaka of Bandaragama Central College, Kalutara, Tasindu Kavichan of Tangol Model Primary School, Kanduru Pokuna, Dovindu Chiranjit of President's Central, Ambilipitiya, Senudi Damsara of Aliagoda Primary School, Tenuja Manumita Bandara of Siripura Primary School, Palanarua, and Yahara Yetmini Appa of Candy Girls High School. With the emergence of the second wave, the examination was compelled to be conducted in the background of a curfew in certain areas. 3 students undergoing quarantine and 2 other students infected with the COVID-19 disease had sat the exam from the IDH hospital in Angoda. One of the students undergoing quarantine have received 189 marks. 3 students infected with the COVID-19 disease who were hospitalized at the Apeksha Hospital had also appeared for the exam. 552 students with special needs had also sat the exam. They included 116 fully or partially visually handicapped students, 92 students with neurological and physical disabilities, 142 students with hearing defects, and 202 other students with numerous disabilities. One among such students, Salith Mayon of Ambanpitiya Special Central College, Kegol, had passed the exam securing 121 marks. He was a Tamil student, blind since birth. Salith Mayon had studied in Sinhala language using the Braille method.
In other news, the Court of Appeals has ordered today former Minister Rishad Badruddin to plant saplings at his own expense at the cleared forest adjoining Vilpattu. The order has been delivered after the court has decided it was illegal to set up the unauthorized human settlements upon the clearing of Kallaru protected forest adjoining the Vilpattu National Park. The panel, comprised of judges Janak De Silva, Nishanka Bandula Karunaratne, have given the verdict upon examination of a petition submitted by Parisara Yukti Kendraya. In addition to planting saplings at private expense, the respondents have also been ordered to pay the court fees of the petitioners. The accused have been cited as former Minister Rishad Badruddin, the Central Environmental Authority, the Department of Conservation of Forests and several other groups. The petitioners have pointed out that a massive environmental degradation had been committed due to the unauthorized clearing of 2,388 acres of land in Kallaru Protected Forest Zone near Vilpattu National Park. The Parisara Yukti Kendra, through the petition, has requested the issue to an injunction to prevent further unauthorized clearings of the forest. The decision of the case was scheduled to be delivered on August 2019. However, due to the unwillingness of Justice Mahinda Samaran Vardhana to declare the verdict, the examination of the case had been delayed. As a result, Chairman of the Court of Appeal has decided to begin a new court proceedings.
It has been revealed at the Presidential Commission inquiring into the Easter attack that former Minister Rishad Badiuddin has maintained contacts with the suspect taken into custody in connection with the Easter Sunday attack by the Terrorist Investigation Division. It has also been disclosed at the investigations that Rishad Badiuddin had visited the residence of the suspect before and after the Easter attack. The first person to give evidence in today's testimony was the Grama Niladhari of the park in Dehiwala Mount Lavenia municipality limit, Sanjeeva Fonseca. The state attorney cross-examined the suspect and inquired whether he was aware of information pertaining to a person named Mohammuddin Izan Ahmed. The Grama Niladhari had responded by saying that the person whose details were inquired was the son of Mohammed Hanifa Mohammuddin, residing at the address number 211 upon 8 Quarry Road, Dehiwala. The witness further said that he was aware that the person named Mohammuddin Izan Ahmed had maintained contacts with two brothers named Mohammed Akram Aukan and Mohammed Akram Sajina, as well as with the Buhari Mohammed, who had been taken into custody in connection with the Easter Sunday terror attacks. The Grama Niladhari further said Mohammuddin Izan Ahmed had worshipped at the controversial Tawjid Jamaat Mosque in the area. Upon further interrogation, the witness added that he came to know that the former Minister Rishad Badiuddin and former Minister of Posts Mohammed Halim had frequently visited the residence of the suspect. Thereafter, Dhammika Priyantha Samarasinghe, the owner at the Quarry Road residence where Izan Ahmed had stayed, gave evidence. He said Mohammuddin Izan Ahmed was taken into custody by the Terrorist Investigation Division on the 26th after the Easter Sunday attacks. He also said that Rishad Badiuddin had visited the residence 2 days after the arrest. The next witness at the Presidential Commission was Investigation Officer of the Commission, Samantha Jaya Mahamudali. He also said that Mohammuddin Izan Ahmed was arrested on charges of aiding Islamic extremist activities and that he was detained after the arrest. Thereafter, a female media person was interrogated over a discussion conducted with the former Army Commander General Mahesh Senanayake. She said that Rishad Badiuddin called her 3 times to inquire on the outcome of the discussion. Meanwhile, attorney-at-law appearing for Badiuddin has requested to give an opportunity to conduct talks with the former minister who is being imprisoned to discuss on related issues. The Presidential Commission, upon consideration of the request, has ordered the Secretary to the Commission to look into the legal possibilities for Rishad Badiuddin, who have contacts with his attorney either through telephone after discussing on the matter with the Commission General of Prisons.
Transportation and other activities in the Western Province have returned to normal today with the easing of the travel restrictions. However, our reporters say that they have witnessed a decline in the number of passengers using buses and trains today. Despite the withdrawal of travel restrictions, 24 police divisions in the provinces continue to remain in isolated condition. It was on the 11th of this month the ban was imposed preventing leaving the Western Province. The aim was to control the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. Measures have also been taken to maintain isolated areas in 17 police divisions in the Colombo district and 7 police divisions in the Gampaha district. Police divisions of Maradana, Colombo Fort, Petta, Slave Island and C Street have been subject to isolation until further notice. The isolated areas in Gampaha district, Negombo, Jayala, Ragama, Kadawatha, Vattala and Paliagode police divisions will remain in isolated until notice, with Kalaniya police division isolated from 5 a.m. today. Police adds that operations are being continuously carried out to apprehend curfew violators. The National Operations Centre for the Prevention of COVID-19 has informed that activities of factories functioning under the Board of Investments and Export Development Board and judiciary proceedings and functions of the other essential state institutions in Maradana, Colombo Fort, Petta, Slave Island, C Street and Kesalvatha police divisions can be resumed while adhering to strict monitoring and guidelines of health authorities. The police says bus associations are prohibited from loading and unloading passengers from isolated areas. However, buses will be allowed to travel in and out of Colombo and other parts of the country. Those bus services have been allowed to utilize the Colombo main bus station. No bus service will be allowed to arrive in Petta from the isolated areas. Minister Gamini Lokuguye was engaged in an observational tour to look into the train transport from Colombo Fort. Although transportation has normalized in Western Province, trains are not allowed to stop in the isolated areas.
Army Commander Lieutenant General Shavindra Silva says that by now the Divalapitiya COVID cluster has been fully controlled. A total of 11,806 COVID-19 recoveries were recorded in the country at present. 311 fully cured patients have left the hospitals today. The percentage of COVID-19 recoveries in the country has increased up to 67.40, while the percentage of active COVID-19 patients currently receiving treatment stands at 32.26. From the beginning of this month up to now, fully cured 7,407 patients have left the hospitals. The highest number of recoveries was reported on November 5th. 311 fully cured patients have left the hospitals today. A total of 229 COVID-19 patients were detected from the country today. The patients have been identified at close contacts of the Paliyagoda COVID-19 cluster. The number of COVID-19 patients identified in the prisons amounts to 437. 10 infected persons out of this number were officials and the rest were detainees. The telephone number 0117-860-381 remains open to resolve problems pertaining to ordering medicines of clinical patients to their residences. The expensive and high-risk medicine which could not be sent through post could be collected by a health person after making reservations through telephone. A total of 11,130 PCR tests were conducted yesterday. Accordingly, 671,498 PCR tests have been conducted in the country at present. Minister Rohit Gunawardena says that activities in the port is being carried out successfully in the face of the COVID-19 pandemic. A special operational chamber has been established in the port premises in this connection. Measures have also been taken to provide the essential health facilities to people isolated apartments housing complexes. Accordingly, medical teams have been dispatched to these places by the Department of Disease Prevention of the Colombo Municipal Council. Western and Ayurvedic physicians examine patients and issue medicinal drugs free of charge.
The Chief Epidemiologist, Dr. Sudat Samaravira, requests the general public not to be afraid of the coronavirus. He calls upon the people to hospitalize and receive treatment once they become aware that they have been infected.
And in Sri Lanka, up to now, 9,791 COVID-19 cases have been identified in this country. And out of this, 6,313 are related to Binuangoda and Paliyagoda clusters. And more than 5,000 cases are in the hospitals or either at treatment centers under treatment by now. Yesterday that we have reported 582 cases, mainly from Colombo Municipal Council area and Gampaha district and also from several other parts of the country. Yesterday 117 cases were reported from the Colombo Municipal Council area, and also we have reported about 50 cases from the Nigambu fisheries areas. To detect all these cases that we have done more than 500,000 PCR tests by now. Anyway, that the Western Province, mainly Gampaha district and the Colombo district, specifically Colombo Municipal Council area, are highly affected with the current wave of COVID-19. In order to control this and also to prevent further transmission of the disease, the government is doing its maximum work that can be done. Not only that, the public also has to contribute this in a very great deal. The people at this moment, the most needed thing is that to prevent people's interaction as much as possible. So because of that, we request people not to go out their houses. Please be stayed at their own homes as much as possible, especially those who are elderly and who are having chronic diseases. These people are the most vulnerable for the severe disease as well as for deaths. So because of that, we request them to stay at home, control their chronic diseases well, take medicines and take the good rest at their houses. Although that COVID-19 is spread rapidly, that it is not a disease that you have to fear about and also to be rejected or should be ashamed of.
The budget for the year 2020 will be presented in Parliament tomorrow. The main aim of the budget is to establish a new economy through the vision of Saubhagya Dakma. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa will present the budget for the 12th occasion at the Ministry of Finance. This will become the 75th budget to be presented in the country. The maiden budget of the new government is scheduled to be presented tomorrow at a time when even the major economies of the world are facing a setback due to the COVID-19 pandemic. But funds have been allocated this year through 4 interim accounts. The budget proposal with relevant expenditures were tabled in Parliament on the 12th of this month. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa, in the capacity of Minister of Finance, said on this occasion that the main objective of the government is to establish an economy which relies more confidence on local production and not based on imports. Other priorities of the next year's budget is to maintain a 5% economic growth and to lessen the debt. The Prime Minister will present the budget report in Parliament at 1:40 p.m. tomorrow. The national television is scheduled to give a live telecast of the event. The second reading of the budget will take place from the 18th to the 21st of this month, both on the second reading scheduled to take place on 5 p.m. on 21st. The third reading for the committee stages debate will take place from the 25th of this month to the 10th of next month. Votes of the representative ministries are scheduled to be debated in committee stages. The final vote of the budget 2021 will take place on the 10th of next month. The budget debate will be held from 9:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. The Parliamentary Select Committee has taken measures to conduct the proceedings according to health guidelines.
The Minister of Education, Professor G.L. Peri, says that the commencement of the third school term will be determined according to instructions of the health divisions. He made these remarks at a media briefing of the SLPP at the party headquarters today. It has also been disclosed at the media briefing on the attempts by the opposition to seek political advantage for the corona pandemic. Minister of Education, Professor G.L. Peri, said that the protection of the health and the future of students is extreme importance. The minister has said that they will take a decision based on the opinion of the health sector. He added that opinions of the principals and teachers will also be taken into consideration in this regard. The minister further said that by taking into consideration of all these opinions, they will decide whether it would be possible to reopen schools for the third term on next Monday or a later date. A discussion on development projects in the Matale district under the National Programme to Uplift Rural Economy took place at the Tourism Promotion Complex Auditorium in Matale yesterday. The Rural Economic Development National Programme is being conducted island-wide with the intention of preventing the emergence of a crisis due to the COVID-19 pandemic. A Social Infrastructure Development Committee set up under the programme aims to prepare a programme for the direct distribution of resources through a new mechanism installed through joint collaboration of all Cabinet and State ministries. 6 national schools are to be established in the Matale district at a cost of 600 million rupees. Steps are also to be taken to resolve the problem of teacher shortage. Setting up of high technology university in the district will take place in next January. Another target is to develop sports infrastructure facilities in 55 schools in 11 divisional secretariat divisions in the Matale district. 30 outdoor physical development centres will also be set up. Plans are also underway to elevate the status of the Matale hockey grounds to that of level of an international stadium. A sum of 300 million rupees will be spent to set up a fire extinguishing centre in the Matale town. Ministers Janaka Bandara Tennakon and state ministers and parliamentarians and representatives of the Matale district have attended talks which was presided over by Minister Namal Rajapaksa.
2 female pilots have joined the Sri Lankan Air Force for the first time today. After ending a successful training period, fixing them with flying badges took place at the China Harbour Air Force camp. Defence Secretary retired Major General Kamal Gururatne and Air Force Commander Air Marshal Sudarshana Patirana presided over the event. 53 Air Force cadet officials and female officials were also promoted to higher ranks on the occasion. 10 flying cadet officers were affixed with the official badges. One of the female pilots, felicitated with a golden sword, was a past pupil of the Ratnavali Vidyalaya in Gampaha. The other female pilot was a past student of Pushpadana Girls' School in Kandy. The SLAF says 2 new recruits will be assigned for the duties as pilot officials attached to the Sri Lankan Air Force Light Brigade.
කිරීම තුලින් ලබාගත් අසීමිත ජයග්‍රහණය
the history of Sri Lanka.
And a bright future. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in putting...
That's it for tonight's English Now update. Thank you for joining us. Good night.